In the fall of 2025, at a computer store in the San Francisco Bay Area, staff took the price tags off the memory shelf. In their place, a handwritten sign: "Costs fluctuate daily. That's not a metaphor. That's what a fish market does." Around the same time, a 64GB kit of RAM cost more than a PlayStation 5. 3 months earlier, that same kit was $190. It was now $700. This story starts with one day in one city with 2 signatures. Here's what you're going to understand: how that day rewrote the price of the most ordinary component in modern electronics, and why, even now, nobody can answer one simple question. Is this shortage real? October 1st, 2025, Seoul, the presidential office. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, is received by South Korean President Lee Jae-myung. Beside him, 2 men, the executive chairman of Samsung Electronics and the chairman of the SK Group. Between them, their companies make most of the world's computer memory. That day, OpenAI signs with both. The stated target, and this number comes from OpenAI's own press release, 900,000 DRAM wafer starts per month. Quick explanation, because that number means nothing on its own. A wafer is a disk of silicon, about 12 inches across. It's the raw material. Hundreds of memory chips get printed onto it, then cut apart to become the sticks inside your computer, your phone, your console. Now the scale. Global capacity, every fab on Earth combined, runs somewhere around 2,250,000 wafers a month. Do the division. What that single day committed was roughly 40% of everything the planet can make. The reaction is instant. Samsung stock hits its highest level since January 2021. SK Hynix jumps almost 10% to levels it hadn't seen since the year 2000. Seoul frames the deal as Korea's ticket into the big league of AI infrastructure. But stock markets weren't the only ones reading that number. Memory buyers read it too, and they understood something very simple. If 40% of global output is going to one customer, you buy now. What follows isn't a price increase, it's a rewrite. Contract DRAM prices climb 171%. On the retail side, it's worse. That 64GB kit I mentioned, $190 in August, hit $700 by November. 268% in under 3 months. And then stores start giving up. Central Computers, in the Bay Area, stops posting prices. Micro Center does the same. When computer retailers start selling memory the way you'd sell fresh fish, that's not supply tightness anymore. That's something else. Then, on December 3rd, 2025, something happens that nobody saw coming. Micron announces it's shutting down Crucial. If that name means nothing to you, let me tell you what it stood for. Crucial was the brand you recommended to a friend, the one you bought to add memory to a computer that had gotten slow, instead of buying a whole new one. For 29 years, it was the affordable, reliable way to keep a machine alive a little longer. Micron's statement is explicit about why. The company's chief business officer, Sumit Sadana, calls it a difficult decision, made to improve supply for larger strategic customers in faster-growing segments. He thanks, and I'm quoting, millions of customers and hundreds of partners. Read that twice. This brand didn't die because it failed. It died because it was selling to the wrong customer. 29 years, millions of users, and an exit because consumers are no longer the segment that counts. If this is the kind of investigation you're into, hit subscribe. This is exactly what we dig into here. Now let's go back to October 1st, because there's one word I haven't used yet, and it's the most important word in this entire story. What Altman signed that day in Seoul wasn't an order. It was a letter of intent. A letter of intent, in commercial law, is a preliminary expression of interest. It obligates no one to buy. It obligates no one to deliver. It creates no enforceable commitment of any kind. That's not my reading of it. That's the term Reuters used, and it's the term OpenAI used in its own announcement, which means the demand signal that rewrote the global price of memory legally required nobody to buy a single wafer. The market didn't read it that way. And then something stranger happened. The build-out that memory was supposed to feed started shrinking. March 2026. Oracle and OpenAI scrapped the expansion of their flagship data center campus in Abilene, Texas, after financing talks stall and OpenAI revises its capacity requirements multiple times. The project would have taken the site from 1.2 to 2 gigawatts, exactly the kind of build-out those memory agreements were designed to serve. April 2026. In a single week, OpenAI pulls out of 2 European projects, in the UK and in Norway. Then the Financial Times reports that OpenAI has effectively abandoned the Stargate joint venture itself, preferring to rent capacity rather than own infrastructure. One person involved describes first-party data centers being set aside, and OpenAI itself concedes that Stargate has become a generic term. The build-out shrank. The prices didn't move a cent. That gap is what eventually landed in a courtroom. On June 25, 2026, a complaint is filed in federal court for the Northern District of California. It's called Garcia-Guerra versus Samsung Electronics. Look at who filed it. 17 plaintiffs, 14 individuals, and 3 small PC building businesses. People whose job is assembling and selling computers, going after 3 companies that together hold about 90% of the global memory market. The accusation is specific. The complaint invokes Section 1 of the Sherman Act, the American antitrust statute, and argues that Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron illegally coordinated to restrict the supply of conventional memory. It puts the increase at roughly 700% over 4 years, and it claims the pivot toward high-bandwidth memory, the kind that feeds AI, served as cover to wind down production of older formats. The complaint also leans on precedent. In April 2005, Hynix pleaded guilty in US court and paid $185 million for taking part in an international conspiracy to fix DRAM prices. At the time, that was the 3rd largest criminal antitrust fine in American history. Across those cases, $731 million in fines, and executives went to prison. Now the other side. Because it exists too. And it's serious. Micron denied the allegations. The company says it competes vigorously, fairly, and in compliance with all applicable laws wherever it does business, and that it will defend itself. The allegations are unproven. As I record this, the companies have not yet responded in court. A comparable complaint, built on different facts, was dismissed in 2022 for lack of sufficient evidence of coordination. And there's a point of law that will probably decide the whole thing. US antitrust law does not prohibit a company from cutting its own output or raising its own prices. It prohibits competitors from agreeing to do it together. 3 companies each independently following the money toward the most profitable segment is not illegal. 3 companies coordinating is. This entire case lives in that distinction, and nobody today can tell you which side it falls on. I'm not going to decide for you, because while the lawyers were building their files, somebody else published something that moved this market faster than any lawsuit. On March 24, 2026, Google's research team posts a blog entry. It describes an algorithm called TurboQuant, authored by Amir Zandi and Vahab Mirokni among others, with collaborators at DeepMind, CAST in Korea, and New York University. What TurboQuant does, in one sentence, it compresses, by a factor of at least 6, the memory an AI model needs to remember what it just calculated, with no loss of accuracy and no retraining. 2 days later, March 26th, Asian markets open. SK Hynix falls 6.2%, Samsung nearly 5%, Kioxia nearly 6%. The Korean index drops as much as 3%. The day before in the US, SanDisk, Micron, and Western Digital had already sold off. Stop for a second on what just happened. It wasn't a factory, it wasn't a product. It wasn't a cancelled contract, it was a research paper, and honesty requires the rest. Several analysts called the reaction overblown, and they have solid arguments. TurboQuant only reduces memory during the inference stage when a model is being used, not during training, and training is where the largest purchasing volumes come from. An algorithm in a paper is not an algorithm deployed in a data center, but what that reaction revealed has nothing to do with the algorithm itself. It revealed what the price of your memory stick was actually resting on. Not a law of physics, not the amount of silicon in the ground. An assumption about the future, and an assumption can be revised in 2 trading days. So where does that leave us? Prices are still climbing, but slower. TrendForce projects conventional memory contract prices rising 13 to 18% this quarter, noting that consumer demand is hitting the limit of what people can pay. In Europe, DDR5 retail prices fell 7.2% month over month, the first decline after 8 straight months of increases, except that even at that level, those prices remain roughly 408% above where they were in July 2025. And the experts don't agree with each other. Jefferies forecasts another 40 to 50% this quarter, and no real relief before 2028. So there are 3 explanations on the table, and I'm going to give you all 3. 1. The shortage is real and structural. AI genuinely needs this memory. Capacity takes years to build, and nobody cheated. That's the manufacturer's position. 2. The scarcity was engineered. 3 companies used a legitimate technology transition as a pretext to restrict supply and drive up prices. That's the 17 plaintiffs' position. 3. Everyone bet on a future that never arrived, a non-binding letter, a build-out that shrank, and a research paper suggesting the need will be smaller than expected. These 3 explanations don't entirely exclude each other, and none of them has been settled. But there's one thing everybody agrees on. While this argument plays out, somebody, somewhere, gives up on repairing a machine that had 3 good years left in it. A student buys a computer with half the memory they actually need. A small builder loses a customer because he can't quote a price that holds. Those are exactly the people who filed suit on June 25th. One note before I let you go. This script was finished on August 11th. If something has broken since then, you know more than I do, and I'd like to hear it, so I'll leave it with you. Are you looking at a shortage or a transfer? Did the memory actually run out, or did it just change buyers? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want the next chapter of this story, subscribe. See you soon.